You need to accept everything you experience immediately, no matter what it is, from life to death, from disease to health, from everything, from heartbreak to wealth beyond imagination. You need to accept everything as quickly as possible.
Bet there's so many people listening to this right now and go like, why is it that I'm doing everything right? I'm optimizing everything. I'm doing all the biohackings. I'm doing all the data and all the blood tests and all those things. But in the end of the day, personally, I felt this for myself. I've done it all. The healing doesn't happen. The manifestation doesn't happen.
See, life will never give us anything we can't handle. I mean, I've worked with people that have gone through devastating fires where entire communities were burned alive. And for love and gratitude, the people that lived, we went in there with a group of Lifeline practitioners. We helped them process that. And the fire wasn't the end, even though it was so tragic. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced to be in that kind of environment. But the Lifeline allowed us to stay present and therefore grow from it versus die from it.
Before we begin, I want to let you know why this conversation exists. In 2020, I was bedridden and I was at loss at what to do with my health. Even after 100 plus healing modalities, 15 years, and over 5 continents, I wasn't able to heal. And to be honest, it was the darkest time of my life, and I almost ended my life. Now, I did not because I realized that there must be something that I'm missing, and this is where I found Dr. Darren Weissman. He's a subconscious mind specialist and a developer of the Lifeline technique, which I have the privilege and the honor to experience that, which led to a 90 days healing, recovery beyond my wildest understanding. And then what happens next is that I have learned and picked up this training and do the very same thing to many, many other clients. And for many years after that, I've seen multiple miracles that has happened through my eyes. Now, Dr. Darren has done this for many others, as my story is not an isolated story. And today in this conversation, we're going to unpack what's behind the person who have created the Lifeline technique. Now in this episode, we did not just walk through, philosophies, healing modalities, how do we actually get there. We unpacked Dr. Darren Weissman's journey, which he himself, you'll find out that he himself were suffering in many, many difficult situations in his health, in his life, and eventually found his way out. There's so many golden gems in this episode, and I would like you to take your time to slowly listen to it because this might save your life too. In every moment of darkness, there's always a light that is waiting for us. This episode is that light. One more thing before we begin. Most of you watching this aren't subscribed yet, and I invite you to go ahead and do that because that's how we find each other. This show exists to shine the path and shine the light on moments when it's so dark, and you subscribing it helps us to find each other. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to me and my team to put this show week by week and for us to reach many others out there. Your presence matters, so let's take a deep breath together. This is Dr. Darren Weissman. But I would like to start this way. This man right here saved my life. I want to bring us back to 2020 when all hell's break loose. It was COVID-19 lockdown. I was a lost cause. I basically completed 100 plus healing modalities over 15 years, over 5 continents, and I was helpless. And I was contemplating if I should end my life because it was too tough and I was bedridden. My skin was flaring up. I couldn't sleep. And I could feel the world mirroring the helplessness and the craziness inside of me. And I asked for a divine intervention. I remember very clearly, it's the same month of when we're recording, it's July. We're almost at our 6th anniversary of meeting Dr. D. And I remember that day, at that moment when I asked for divine guidance on how to heal. And forgiveness came up first and foremost, forgiveness of the self. And I remember that moment, a bright light just entered my body and I felt this healing energy coursing through. And I started crying after not being able to cry for 18 months. What happened after that is this moments of synchronicity and connection to the divine, I saw two things. Number one, it was the Healed documentary by by Kelly, right? Kelly Ninagors, and I saw you in there. And the second thing was Dr. Masaru Emoto's Healing Power of the Water, and I saw your article in there, and made me go like, "Who's this guy?" I see him a couple of times, and I should check him out. Type in his website. Didn't think much. Book a call, book a session, and did my first session. And I was like, "This is it. I gotta learn the lifeline technique." And I know this was gonna heal me. And lo and behold, 3 months later, what spontaneous healing kicked in. I was healed. This, my friend, is Dr. Darren Weissman. Welcome to the Lighthouse Initiative podcast. And this conversation is going to be so amazing. Thank you for being here, Dr. D.
It's such a pleasure, brother. I'm so grateful to be here with you and everyone who's listening.
Yeah, I would really like to just dive right in.
Let's do it.
And I think the biggest misconception from people when they see a healer or spiritual teacher is that they have this perfect life lined out. And they just feel like they got it all. They're living the life of freedom. And I know you've been in this field for more than 30 plus years. And before the Lifeline technique was here, before you went into chiropractic school, who are you, Dr. D? How are you as a kid?
Oh, wow. How was I as a kid? You want to hear something funny? It was just Father's Day. And my eldest daughter, Joya, asked if we could go visit my father at the cemetery who passed 10 years ago in 2016. And so we did, and my other daughter, Rumi, joined us. And while we were there at the cemetery plots, my dad and then his mom and dad, my Nani and my Papa Ray, and we were talking about all kinds of different things, life and death. And my daughter Rumi was like, I don't want to be buried in the ground. And we just were having just really great conversations. And then I grew up very close to where the cemetery is in a city called Arlington Heights. And it was 1984. 1984. Yeah, 1984. I'm a sophomore in high school. And my parents asked me to paint their garage. And I'm like, for sure, I'll do it. And I got high and I was smoking marijuana and I painted the garage and I got carried away. And the helpless romantic part of me painted a big heart on the side of the wall and Yale plus Esther. And I thought they were going to be so mad at me. And they ended up loving it. And that stayed there until we moved once I graduated from high school. And I thought that was it. And what was wild was the girls asked if we could go to the house. We went to the house. We rang the doorbell, Chiron. This young woman answers with these two young kids. And she's like, can I help you? I'm like, my parents built this house. And she goes, are your parents Yale and Esther? I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, there's a heart on our garage door that says Yale plus Esther. I'm like, I happen to be the artist. And so she's like, well, do you want to see that? I'm like, oh my God, I could not believe it. I was blown away. And so I walked through my childhood home, had all these memories coming back of my own challenges of sickness and trauma and different things like that. But it was on Father's Day, and I had such an incredible, enlightening experience just to be able to relive that and share that with my girls. It was just so powerful, so empowering. So who was I? I was a regular guy, but at the same time, I went through my own health challenges and my own struggles socially and all kinds of things.
So, coming back to your story, and you smoked marijuana and you just did the most fantastic art um, in the garage,
In the garage.
right? And your parents were just like, wow, that's most beautiful, loving thing that you did.
They loved it. They
Yeah.
loved it. And I was a rascal. I was a rascal. Yeah, I as a young boy, I remember I'm in fifth grade, Mrs. Zibbitt's class. I'm sharpening a pencil at the brick wall, and I'm looking around, and I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? I'm like, I just felt like there was something. I'm like, what is everybody doing? I saw I'm like, these people are just doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm like, this is just, it's a program. It's a program. We're just following suit, just doing what we're told to do. But, what is real learning? And I talked to my friend, Jeffrey, my best friend that I've known since I was 9. This was when I was 10, fifth grade. 9 was in fourth grade. We met in fourth grade. I'm like, Jeffrey, I'm like, I just think that this is all BS. And I'm like, let's just see what happens. Let's see if they'll flunk us out of school. Let's see if they'll flunk us out of school. Let's see who can do worse. And we both did horrible. I did worse than him. And on purpose. They didn't flunk us out. We went on to junior high. The only thing that they did is they kept us separate from each other. They kept us
Mm.
separate from each other. But I realized on that this is just about, we're in this world where we are told what to do and we do it and we reach certain levels and like you do this and now you do that and you do this and now you do that and like how do you know? How do you know? Like I felt like there was a deeper calling within me. I didn't know it at the time and as a result, and it's very similar to you, I really struggled with health challenges as a child. Allergies, asthma, rushed to the hospital for asthma attacks, tubes in my ears, tonsils and adenoids removed, really struggled, had learning disabilities, but back then, in the 70s, nobody had an understanding about learning disabilities. And so I then got caught into addiction because I was feeling so horrible about myself. And that really took me on a long way home. And, but as a result of that, as a result of that struggle, I I discovered things and learned things that I otherwise would not about myself. And I question things, and I'm really grateful that I question things and I buck the system. Um, I am, and I'm grateful for the system too because I learned amazing things when I did decide to apply myself, which was really a powerful experience.
Got it. And I'm just wondering, growing up in the 70s, like what do you wish you had as a kid, right? And if you have a choice, like to speak up and have the ability and the consciousness to ask for those things, and if it's given to you, what would it be?
Wow. I mean, straight up, if I could ask for something that I needed to be protected. I was being picked on and abused.
No, no.
And I didn't know how to ask for help. I yeah, I needed the ability to speak up and I didn't have the ability to speak up.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that's what I would have asked for. If I
So,
hindsight's 2020, I would have asked for someone to be able to protect me
hmm.
from being hurt. Yeah.
And did you have a lot of trouble with emotions, and where did the emotions go? Besides you,
They turned into rage.
mm,
They turned into anger. They turned into ultimately numbing myself out because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. Yeah, they turn into allergies to everything. Foods, environment, grass, trees, molds, dust, dander. Yeah, three shots in that arm, 4 shots in this arm every week. That's what we did. My grandfather was a pharmacist. We took pills. I took so many pills for breathing and allergies and infections and different things like that. And I now know that my body spoke what my emotions uh, were feeling and that I couldn't process. I now understand that. And I had a real loving mom and a really loving dad and beautiful in that way. And yet they just did the best they could. They were just doing their best to make it happen and to provide for 3 boys and to live and they did. They were incredible. It just there was definitely an aspect of an abusive experience that I had that was going on that was traumatic, and I didn't know how to deal with that, and that had its impact on myself emotionally, and my self-esteem, and my self-worth, and biologically in my immune suppression.
absolutely. And it takes a journey to know that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
And
sure.
is that why you got inspired to go into chiropractic school, and how did that transition for you?
I wanted to go into medical school,
Okay. Just like me.
and
Okay.
yeah, and I was in the process of doing that, and then my brother Howie, who's Dr. Howie Weissman, when I was a sophomore in college at Kansas University in my fraternity, Acacia, that I had started with some friends, he called me. He had gotten a horrible car accident. And fortunately, it wasn't catastrophic, but he was really beaten up. He had horrible whiplash, and he, like me, we took pills and to help with symptoms. So he took pain pills and anti-inflammatories and muscle relaxers, and that did not help him with the horrible whiplash that he had. And then he went and after he exhausted that route and didn't know what else to do, he was referred to a chiropractor. And he saw this guy named Dr. Horn, and Dr. Horn literally straightened him out, adjusted him, and his body healed itself after being adjusted. And he called me up. He said, Darren, you ought to check out chiropractic. He calls me up at my fraternity, and we had a phone booth at the fraternity. So I know many people don't know what that is, but we literally had a phone booth, and I went on in, and we literally put coins in to call, and we had this conversation. I didn't even know what a chiropractor was at 19. I didn't even
You were
know.
19.
And
Okay.
I was 19.
Yeah.
And I was already studying different aspects of biology and physiology and different things like that. And he's like, "You got to check out chiropractic." And I said, "What is that?" He goes, "Just check it out." So there's something that's called the Yellow Pages. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, we have those.
Okay, so
I was early enough in those days to know what those things are.
so a lot of people don't know what the Yellow. It's a huge book. It's
Yeah.
like it's what you can find on your phone right now. It's
Yes,
like
all the
you can
directories and stuff like
The
that.
directors,
Yeah.
exactly. And I called every chiropractor in Lawrence, Kansas, and I said, "Hey, I'm looking to find out about chiropractic. I'm not really looking for a job. You don't have to pay me. I just want to learn about it." And they were like, "No, I don't need help. I don't need help. I don't need." I called 20 different chiropractic offices.
Hmm.
Finally reached this guy named Dr. James Dre, and he's like, I'm moving offices. If you help me lift boxes and move my office, I'll teach you about chiropractic. So I had a motorcycle at the time. I rode over my motorcycle to his office. I helped him lift boxes and move into the new place. He gave me my first adjustment, and that was it. I was like, oh my goodness, something. I felt my switch turn on. I was thinking different. I was breathing differently. I just felt stronger. And he taught me about the philosophy of chiropractic and the innate healing of the body and the nervous system. That opened me up. And then I was really science-based at that point, and I found a chiropractic school in the Chicagoland area called the National College of Chiropractic. And I went there because I wanted the science base. And while I was in chiropractic, I met a guy whose name is Dr. Ray Wei Chi, and he was a Chinese medical doctor, acupuncturist, and chiropractor.
Wow.
He had three doctorates, and I started at the same time doing chiropractic. I started studying acupuncture at the same time simultaneously, and at the same time, I was so geeked out about it. I found out that I had a second cousin named Steven Cialino, Dr. Steve Cialino, who was a master at applied kinesiology and magnetotherapy. So on the weekends or in between like classes, I would shadow him while still in school. So I was really getting the most incredible um, education once I jumped in. I immediately started to open up to all the different pathways of how the mind and the body and the spirit, the chemistry and the behavior, how it all works together. Once it really from that one call, you got to check out chiropractic. It ultimately changed everything.
Mm.
Which powerfully enough, my brother Howie, who I love with all my heart and soul, he was the one who picked on me. He was the one who was abusive to me. And so I love him. We are completely in authenticity with one another. And I would take a bullet for that guy. But what's amazing is he was the one that ultimately activated me in stepping and leaping into my calling of of awakening the lifeline technique and becoming a chiropractor.
Mm. Amazing. Take me back to the first moment when you shared that you got your first adjustment from someone. And take me back to the moment where you just gave someone an adjustment. Was that experience mutual in terms of like the kind of healing that you get working on someone as the person who's also receiving it? Or is there
Yeah.
something else different to it?
Well, I'm having a couple thoughts come into my mind. One is while in chiropractic school, we adjusted each other so much that I was actually in a lot of pain as a result of being adjusted so many times. And and so it was like because we were always practicing with each other and it was amazing. However, I've done more adjustments than I could possibly imagine. And yeah, I had adjustments change people's lives. Yet at the same time, I always had a question, Chiron, like why do I have to keep on why do I keep on needing this adjustment? As an acupuncturist, why do I keep on needing this pathway? Why does this meridian have an excess or deficiency again and again and again? People have their patterns structurally, energetically. And so that ultimately, as a result of that, I realized there's definitely a time and place for the adjustment. It's incredible. I highly recommend finding a great chiropractor.
Hmm.
Yet there's a much deeper core to why the body goes out of alignment. And it's
Hmm.
not that you just need an adjustment.
Yep.
It isn't. It isn't. There's a whole deeper calling there.
What is that calling? What's that core that you have
Well, the
discovered?
body is speaking every symptom, no matter what it is, whether it be, oh, my neck is sore or stiff, or, I'm feeling indigestion or acid reflux, or I'm feeling rapid heartbeat, or I'm having an allergic reaction. At the core of every symptom, stress, and dis-ease is some level of a memory that lives in our subconscious mind that hasn't been processed.
Hmm.
And that memory is emotionally charged. And that's what leads to the misalignment in the spine. It's what leads to the imbalance in the chi and the life force of the acupuncture meridians. It's what affects the stomach in producing acid or the white blood cells producing, the ability to fight infection.
Yep.
Is when memories can be processed, the body's present. When the body's present, we are innately capable of healing. Like you said, like this person, healed me, healed me. I didn't heal you. I used a technology that guided you so that you could heal yourself. Once that memory within us, and so usually it's like a popcorn, like one kernel pops and then it's like pop, 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 pop. There's a lot of memories that we store within our cells, our organs, our glands, our senses, our systems, and so it's not like sometimes it can be one memory and boom, shift, but oftentimes it's really an understanding that it's a compilation of different strings of memories and beliefs and emotional triggers that ultimately lead to the different levels of imbalance that go on physically, emotionally, structurally, spiritually,
Hmm. Hmm.
chemically. Mhm.
Did you learn that from the combinations of chiropractic, acupuncture, and applied kinesiology, or is this something that you have eventually discovered on your own after working on so many patients where, like you said, I gave the same adjustment, I keep needling the same place and the same root came up. Is the discovery of this come from the kind of experience or from school?
Experience.
Cool.
Yeah, I did not learn it in school. And I had really amazing experiences. Now check this out. When I would find someone who's a master at what they do, I would follow them and I would shadow them as long as they would let me stay around. So there
Mm,
was there was a guy, like this is really outrageous what I'm about to talk about. There was a guy then named Dr. John Sunderledge who was a master acupuncturist and he learned this incredible Chinese system of bladder acupuncturing along the spine and electro acupuncture. He integrated the work of Dr. Robert Becker. Dr. Robert Becker wrote a book named Cross Currents in Body Electric, and he was curious why like salamanders can regenerate.
mm,
Like why do they regenerate and why can't we? And he found out, long story short, that at the stump of where, let's say, a tail or a leg is amputated, the where that stump is, the salamander forms a negative charge. And because of that negative electrical charge is formed, that stump forms what's called an NEJ, a neural epidermal junction. And that causes the cells to differentiate. They go backward into embryonic stage, and then they differentiate into the ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, and then they form all the tissues, the bones, blood vessels, muscles, and tissues and skin. So Dr. John Sunderledge used this technology using electroacupuncture frequency, aligning it with the Schumann frequency of Mother Earth. That the frequencies between spring and winter, like between all the seasons, between spring and autumn and winter and summer, it goes between 3.0 hertz to 8.0 hertz. So 3.0 in winter and 8.0 in summer and 5.5 in autumn and spring. Anyhow, the point is that I shattered. He would see 100 people a day acupuncturing them. Guy was amazing. He had 12 rooms. It'd be filled. Boom, he'd go in with he'd needle them up. He'd do his diagnostic. He'd needle them up, put the electrical currents, and then he'd move on to the next. And somebody else would take out the needles. Well, I'm shadowing, and I'm in a room after room after room. People with diabetic neuropathy, and people with diabetic neuropathy they go blind. They get retinopathy. Their feet go numb and they form gangrene. And we know in the medical world, when someone has great gangrene, they amputate. Yeah. Well, so here's people with gangrene, and Dr. John is needling them. This is God honest truth in my children's life. And I am seeing legs that are regenerating, fingers that are regenerating. No joke. Like, how could that possibly be? So I'm in there, and I'm like that. My jaw is on the ground. And he goes into the next room, and I go to this woman. I'm like, what is going on here? Are you honest? Like, is this real? Is this real? It's like Dr. John saved my life. He was kind of like a farmer guy. He was like he was just the kindest, beautiful person, but he's just so humble and so down to earth and just so simple. But he used this incredible, like, advanced technology of acupuncture that stimulated the electrical potential that allowed that negative charge, the neuroepidermal junction, to form, and the cells to go into differentiate into primordial embryonic cells, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, and then they would regenerate. And I saw it over and over again. And I said to him, I'm like, aren't you nervous that you're gonna get shut down? He goes, you know what? And he's passed, and for love and gratitude. He goes, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? He goes, I gotta do it. I'm like, it is what it is. He had incredible integrity. He was very medically aware of when things were, because sepsis could happen. A lot of like dangerous things could occur, but I saw person after person regenerate, person after person. It was incredible. I wonder if I have it. Hold on a second. I don't have it in here. Do I? I don't. Do you have my book, Awakening to the Secret Code of Your Mind?
Not right here with me.
Okay, yeah.
But it's in that book, is it?
Well, no. It's that I ended up working with Dr. Masaru Emoto myself. So I became really good friends with Dr. Emoto. And as a result of becoming friends, he had diabetes. And
right.
his interpreter, he didn't speak very good English. His interpreter, Sakiko, reached out to me when I was in Mexico and said, Dr. Yamamoto is really having some struggles. Can you work with him? So I am in Mexico. He's somewhere in Japan, I think Yokohama. And I run a session on him remotely as I just tune into him. And for some people that are listening, like, how does that happen? It's energy, vibration, frequency. So I run a session. I don't really hear from him in a long time, and I am writing my second book called Awakening to the Secret Code of Your Mind, and I ask him for an endorsement. And his endorsement is, I met Dr. Weissman in Toronto at a Hay House I Can Do It, and hey, I love being around him. Just being around him is healing for me. When I suffered with gangrene 3 years ago, Dr. Weissman did a remote session for me, and ever since then, my body healed. So now I took what Dr. Sunderledge taught me with needles And we applied the same vibrational frequency and understand the lifeline technique, which once again, for anyone who's listening that doesn't have a comprehension of it, like, oh, you're just batshit crazy in your bullshit. And I understand that. I understand that. And that's okay. The reality is that there's more than meets the eye, and there's things that we have available to us. And the body heals itself, and there's all kinds of roadblocks. There's no one fit for everyone, but there's something for everyone.
Mhm.
And it's just about discovering what that is, just like when we met during COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But this is why we're having this conversation.
yeah.
And
And chiropractic, it's foundation. And the reality is, Western medicine is incredible. And I really admire, I'm inspired. Like, there's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place for it. And a lot of people come to me and they come with me for like a last ditch. They're like, "Oh, you're my last hope." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am not your last hope. I'm no one's last hope. The time to use me is proactive. Don't wait." But when people do come in with chronic type of diseases that are going on, I always tell people, get your dream team together. Get
Mhm.
your dream team. And that you have yourself a medical doctor, you got yourself a chiropractor. What I do now, what my specialty in this world of specialists is that I specialize on helping to entrain the subconscious mind from a reactive, looping, emotionally limiting space of being stuck in a memory to an evolved space of remembering that I'm a divine being and I'm connected to my most holy light, divine presence. That's what we do in the Lifeline technique through the energy of infinite love and gratitude.
Amazing.
Yeah, it
Great.
is. It's amazing. It really is amazing. I'm in awe of it. You know what? Here's the thing too, because like as you were saying, like this guy healed me. I did not heal you, and I really live by this. I take no credit. I also take no blame. The power that creates us is the power that heals us. B.J. Palmer, the developer of chiropractic, said that, and I really live by that. And there's a real responsibility when we're working with people. There's a real responsibility to guide people in the most authentic, integrity based, so that people can make the right decisions, because there's a time and place that people go and they take a pill and they do a surgery. I've had surgery before. It's like there's a time and place for things, and having that understanding versus sometimes we get so hoo-ha, and it's like, and we just, and there's a good reason for it, because miracles happen every day. And we live on planet Earth in the Milky Way galaxy, an infinite universe. Like, what's possible? Everything's possible. Yet it's important to be grounded and connected to where we're really at. And oftentimes, when the reactive mind is triggered, we lose that sense of self, and sometimes that can be dangerous for people. And so I really like to guide people where we are intentional and present and understanding that the subconscious is just like, everyone's got a subconscious. Like, you got a nose, you got an ear. It's like, it's a part of us. But if you don't know that it's there, the difference between the nose and the ear and the subconscious is invisible. So
Mhm.
we're working with an invisible field that affects everything. And understanding that is really profound. It's really profound.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel, we're coming to this conversation, and I feel that just working on this field with you and understanding the lifeline technique and everything else that I do, the greatest blocker that I've found for myself and for many people is belief, right? And I feel like there's so much unlearning to do. And I'm wondering at this point, two parts to this question, all right? One is, what is the craziest belief that you have to unlearn for yourself to learn what you have to learn today? And what kind of belief that people should start unlearning for themselves right now in order for them to heal, especially those of us listening to this?
I think they're the same one.
Yeah, the same one?
The Yeah, I think they're the same belief, and that belief is, to me, it's the greatest virus on the planet, the greatest virus of the mind. The
Mm-hmm.
greatest limiting belief is that I'm not enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not enough.
Before we go further, a quick pause. If something in this conversation hits you deeply on the inside, do not let these ideas and insights go to fade. There's something that I say that insights is just another beautiful experience, but insights, when you apply, create a potent and powerful transformation in your life. This is why I've built the Lighthouse community, and I bring people every single week to talk about the insights that is being shared in the episode so that we can create an open space, a safe space for us to discuss, integrate, and apply this beautiful wisdom that is shared in the podcast episodes into our lives. You'll find leaders like you across Malaysia, across Asia, and some even in the United States, sharing conversations, experiences, and insights where we pull all these answers together to figure out those 2 a.m., 3 a.m. questions that linger in our consciousness that we would love to be answered. Every episode has its own discussion, and when you come into this space, you get to also bring and share your unique insights into the space and contribute to each other's lives. The link is in the show notes. Come and join us and find your tribe. I'm on a mission. When we all come together in a community, we can co-create a brighter and more beautiful world that we know is possible. Now back to the conversation. Is,
I'm
is
not
that
good
why is
enough.
that why people are resisting certain new modalities and not being open-minded? It's the root of the belief is causing this kind of a behavior?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my take on it. I'm
Right.
not enough. I'm not good enough. If only I were more. That is a core limiting belief that when that gets triggered, how we see ourselves, how we see the world around us, how we hear our own inner voice, let alone how we hear others, how we express ourselves, how we feel, how we're felt. I'm not enough. And so not only does that become a behavior of belief, but it becomes a biology of belief. Bruce Lipton talks about that, where now our cells see, because our body speaks our mind. So if my mind, and it really is, it's Marianne Williamson, who is really an incredible woman and author. She ran for president. I mean, this is a really, really powerful person. She wrote a book called Return to Love.
Hmm.
Do you ever read it?
No, I'd love to
It's
check it out.
it's a great one. You love it.
Yeah.
And in that book, Return to Love, there's a quote, and the quote really represents the I'm not enough limiting belief. And the quote is, what's our greatest fear? And our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure.
Yeah.
Who are you to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small is no longer serving the world. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that's within you. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, I'll say that one again. As we let our own light shine, as we are liberated from our own fears, our own I'm not enoughness, our presence automatically liberates others. No one can do this path. Like when I woke up to the Lifeline technique, do you know what ultimately catalyzed me having this download of this flowchart?
No, tell me.
My dear friend, Dr. Ingrid Mays, saying to me, Darren,
Ah,
you're just too afraid of how powerful it will be. She was right. I was scared. I was scared of shining. I was scared of owning it. I'm not scared anymore. It is what it is. I'm 24 years into it. I've done hundreds of thousands of sessions with people over and over again. I don't do the healing. That's not what this is. We're designed to heal. I don't fix people. No one's broken. There's intelligence in the broken mind. There's intelligence in the stress. There's intelligence in the patterns of struggle and stuckness, in the I'm not enoughness. And so what a profound thing as we look at like what are the core beliefs that people can start to work on. Look, Louise Hay made it really simple. Look in the mirror, slow down, smile for extra credit, and say, I love you. I love you. And really do that. And guess what happens? At the beginning of it, you're going to feel really freaky. You're going to be like, this is weird. That's I'm not enough. Right there. That's the I'm not enough.
Mm.
And right there, that's it. Like, oh, I'm feeling, oh, this feels so weird. Oh my God, I feel so dumb. Like, what do you mean you feel dumb? Say you love yourself. Come on, love yourself. That's really what it's all about. How do we not love ourselves? How do we not fall in love with ourselves every day? And it's because we got these core beliefs that run really deep. They run really deep in our minds, in our bodies, in our cells, in our thinking, in our feeling, and it's passed on for generations, and it's karmically experienced and through life to life, and we're doing our best. And human beings are incredible. We're so incredible. What is inside of us is so profound, and I really feel that we're in an exciting time. That there's
Mhm.
really, as my dear friend Greg Braden says, there's amazing deep truths that we are all awakening to in this time of polarization. Actually, this is a time that is a real awakening. And Greg says it's like we're going through a reset.
Oh
We're
yeah.
going through we're going through a reset, and all these technologies, all these ancient healing arts, and these modern ways of understanding the mind, body, and spirit, they're all a compilation that are empowering us to go inward versus in our world right now where we've got all kinds of technology and AI and different kinds of things, getting chips put in your body and different things like that. It's like, wow, do we realize, and that's what the lifeline technique is, do we realize that we've got access to our own mind, to our own heart, to our own DNA. We've got access to our own emotional content to process these things and therefore create a change that is more powerful, and check this out, more powerful than what is about to say is like more powerful than a pharmaceutical. Pharmaceuticals are incredible. You take a drug and it makes a change in inflammation. Take a steroid, inflammation goes down. But guess what? You go off of it, the inflammation comes back.
Yeah.
Just about every single time. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a process interrupt, and then people have a shift. But it's like playing chess, and it moves somewhere else. But the reality is, there's so many different forms of medicine. So people take plant medicine these days. People take ayahuasca and ibogaine and everything, and that's a medicine. Well, what about the medicine that our mind creates when we learn how to use our mind as a tool? Because until the mind is used as a tool, it defaults in every one of us and it becomes a tormenting mind. I had a tormenting mind for a long time. It doesn't mean I don't get triggered in my life these days. I do. We all get triggered. Everyone has stresses. Everyone has, throughout our whole life, our body's healing in different ways. Yet the reality of it is that when we're in the practice of it, of using the mind as a tool, the symptoms evolve, the patterns evolve as we change.
And that is our birthright.
And that's our birthright.
And that's our birthright.
That's our sovereign soul.
Hmm. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just want to take a deep breath and create some space to that entire monologue that you just gave because there's so much in there, and I really encourage, those of us listening, to go back a few steps to really listen to in between what Dr. Darren has just said because I think for those of us going through that journey, that arc, the dark night of the soul, and we would go through that hopelessness, especially I've seen a lot of like really successful people crumbling from the inside out, pursuing things, and it's like getting everything right in their life, but the brokenness is still there, the emptiness, whether it's a chronic symptom internally or mental health or families or money or career. People are struggling at this point, especially when we are, like you mentioned, we are in a very definitely interesting time to be alive. There cannot be any more chaos, crisis, and change that is happening at a rapid pace,
Yeah.
and our mind is just struggling to cope with it. And personally, being a practitioner, as someone who used this for myself, I practice for myself and practice for my clients as well, it helped me to keep some level of sanity, you know,
Right.
in the world,
Yeah.
right? Because there's so much insanity going on. And I bet there's so many people listening to this right now and go like, why is it that I'm doing everything right? I'm optimizing everything. I'm doing all the biohackings. I'm doing all the data and all the blood tests and all those things. I mean, there's time, like you said, there's time for all those things. But in the end of the day, personally, I felt this for myself. I've done it all. Yet, it's the healing doesn't happen. The manifestation doesn't happen. And I guess, because you've been in this industry for so long, so long, what is it that we are not getting? Because there's a messaging that is just not there because it's about getting right. It's like what you have shared, right? The pleaser, the prover, the performer, the victim that is running on that engine. What is it that we are trying to learn in this stage of our humanity? And what is it that we're trying to birth so that we can step into our power?
I humbly feel that people are hungry to stay present.
Hmm.
And in our world of Amazon Prime, of Las Vegas lights, of things that are just given to us, that we have this false belief that life is um, just going to do what we want it to do. And that's a false belief. Life's going to be life. Our ability isn't to control life, our ability is to be present in life. And we can do things where we align with our heart the subconscious mind. We can get the subconscious mind that's been working from a program or a memory. Let's just, for example, say it's the 9-year-old memory, and I'm sharpening the pencil, and so that 9-year-old part of me who's like, "What? This is a crazy world I'm living," and that just stays there. Now, the neat thing about life is the design of the brain and the body. And the design of the brain and the body is that neither of them know the difference between memories of the 9-year-old or any memory, what we're really experiencing, or the imaginations that we have. And so when we get triggered into a memory or when we have an imagination of a dream, we can entrain the reactive memories into a higher self. And oftentimes that can align in what we really desire, a healthy outcome of my body, or the dynamic of an intimate relationship, or a status, or whatever it might be. And however, uh, that's not really what it's about. It's not about getting something or somewhere. The game is about, can I stay present? Can I be present when this is going on? Can I be present when this is not going on? When you say something that I like or when you say something that I don't like, can I stay present? When I'm at home or when I'm in Malaysia, can I stay present? When I'm eating salad or when I'm having a steak? Can I stay present? When it's winter or when it's summer? Can I stay present? With my mom or with my sibling? Can I stay present? We as human beings on a subconscious level are triggered every 3 to 5 seconds. And we live in a world that attempts to outrun that subconscious mind, which will never happen because the design of it is that it's meant to be faster than our conscious mind because it needs to store the memories. It needs to run so many different things that we can't consciously keep track of. The subconscious mind is really an incredible library and also an incredible driver of biological function for the human experience while we're alive. So, what do we need? What are we looking for? Manifestation. Why isn't this working out? I'm doing all these different things. Pause. How does that make you feel? Now, for one person, it might make them feel sad. For another person, it might make them feel pissed off. For another person, it might make them feel insecure. For another person, they might feel grief. It doesn't really matter, but whatever it is for you, pause. Let yourself acknowledge how you feel. That's not bad, and that's not wrong how you feel. It just feels bad and wrong. That in the lifeline is the portal. That is the doorway into the invisible subconscious mind. It starts with what we're conscious of. So as you're asking really a deep question, there's a deeper understanding in the sense that, wait a second, it isn't about getting somewhere, it's about being present. It's so paradoxical. Yet at the same time, when we're truly present is when we can manifest with confidence and capability and courage and all these different aspects. We discover peace and passion and purpose when we're present. Yet we get triggered because life is fast or life is slow. And as a result, we go, and you know this really deeply, we go on the paradoxical path. And that paradoxical path, it's the long way home. And we form these reactive identities. Now I'm the avoider. Oh, he's just an introvert. No, that's not true. It's not true. Sometimes, hey, I want to be quiet with myself. That's different. That's different. The essence of it is that there's reactive parts of ourselves and there's active parts of ourselves. And creating a relationship with the reactive part of yourself where you can be curious and compassionate and you can begin to learn from it versus judge it and follow a basic process which we teach in the lifeline technique that allows us that in any given situation, I'm talking any situation, we can stay present. See, life will never give us anything we can't handle. I mean, I've worked with people that have gone through devastating fires where entire communities were burned alive. In love and gratitude, and the people that lived, we went in there with a group of Lifeline practitioners. And we helped them process that, and the fire wasn't the end, even though it was so tragic. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced to be in that kind of environment. But the Lifeline allowed us to stay present and therefore grow from it versus die from it. I've worked with people that have been through the Rwandan genocide. Like the concept of things that are so outrageous, people that experience home invasions and different things like that. You're diagnosed with a stage 4 diagnosis or whatever it might be. How do I stay present? In my humble opinion, staying present is the most important thing we could ever learn to do, especially as our world resets and awakens. We become more clear of the defining line of polarization. And in this world, we're only becoming aware of the far left and the far right of every aspect of life because the bridge is being built. We wouldn't see both sides unless the bridge was being built. We're seeing both sides. And I don't have the answer for that. I just have a process to stay present as human beings, move through this process and allow us to live with intentionality and with realism too, and also with imagination, and really awaken the beauty and the magic of what it means to be an amazing, joyful, peaceful, loving human being that's designed to heal and it's already whole.
Hmm.
What do we need?
Yeah.
Why isn't it happening? Hey, here we go. As everyone's listening right now, if you're resonating with this, if you could choose to create your life, if you could design your life, if you could manifest, if you could blow out birthday candles and make a wish for the upcoming year, would you ever blow out candles and say, I am wishing for my skin to be diseased. I'm wishing for my heart to have arrhythmia. I'm wishing for anxiety and depression. I'm wishing for my heart to be broken, for me to be rejected, for me to have mom and dad trauma. And I'm choosing to be obsessive and compulsive and addictive. Would anyone ever choose that? Would you ever choose that? And before you answer it, Chiron, I want everyone just to sit with this. Take a breath. I like how you do that. Take a breath and just tune into the pain of life. Would you ever choose to wake up to any given day and say, oh man, I'm excited to be in pain in my head, in my heart, in my relationships, in my bank account? Would you ever choose that?
Well, we all
The,
know the answer.
yeah, and the answer is a very compassionate no.
Hmm.
No way.
Definitely.
And that's so significant because what is not a choice, what is not an action, but it's still happening. I'm still in pain. I'm still in stress. That's the reactive part of ourself. And the reactive part of ourself is either in the past or the future. And so our job in the lifeline, it gets us into the present. We harmonize these parts, we entrain them, we guide this primitive part into a very sophisticated intelligence of emotional intelligence, of spiritual intelligence, of body intelligence, of intimacy intelligence. We really learn how to awaken to deeper parts of our brain and our body and our consciousness.
Hmm. Well said. Well said. I want to touch back on portals, right? And I want to make it relatable for all of us because when people go through things, we wouldn't call it a portal. We would call it problems. We're gonna call it something that we want to solve. And I'm curious, for someone who even has the technique, who even founded the technique, and use these tools daily, man, what's the most difficult portal you had to go through, and what did you learn from it?
I this year I've gone through maybe one of the most difficult portals of my entire life.
Mm,
And it was just a shocking experience of being 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 accused of something that was a complete lie. And it was so profound. And so yeah, that was I've been through divorce. I've gone through a divorce. I have a great relationship with Sarit, who's my ex-wife, and we are incredible friends. We still work in business together. That was a hard portal, but this has been an intense year for me. A good friend committed suicide. That was a really hard portal. Yet someone super close to me, just I went through such an intense portal with this, and it really required a real daily practice for me to stay present because it really triggered every fiber in me. I really didn't feel safe, and it was really a wild experience, a horrible experience. And I feel really calm and confident about it. I feel really t in touch with my own integrity. I'm very aware of who I am and who I'm not, and so it's been profound. Yeah, we face all kinds of things. We all do with
yeah.
family, with friends, with health. There's all kinds of things. And I want to answer your question though too, like, you know, I got this problem. If you got a problem and you know it's a problem, then fix it. That's it. If you can do something about your life, if you need to save more money, if you need to drink more water, if you need to get more sleep, if you need to knock on one more door or make one more call or whatever, then do it. I find here we are, we're doing it. We're drinking our water, we're doing our best. We got all our biohacks and practices and different things, and I'm on top of my game. Yet, this pattern of thinking of I'm not enough keeps going on. This shoulder keeps going on, whatever it might be. In that type of situation, in the lifeline technique, it starts by changing the rules. And by changing the rules, I mean, what if the problem actually was a portal? And then we're pushed into a situation where we have to define what a portal means. What does it even mean? Because if we don't know what it means, it just sounds silly. Yet, and let me just ask you, what is a portal? How would you define a portal?
Portal in its own definition, it's a doorway to something. Like it connects
Yeah,
from something to something. That's what I
yeah,
know, right? Like a
yeah,
wormhole.
yeah. So it's a doorway, a wormhole. It goes from one place to another. And we live in an evolutionary world.
Mm,
So stress is a part of life, and nature shows us that when we experience stress, when a tree experiences the wind, the roots grow deeper, the bark grows thicker, it grows towards the light. We have the same enzyme. So when we experience stress, our roots grow deeper, our bark grows thicker, and we grow. So the portal is an opportunity for us to grow, to learn, to evolve, to become the next greatest version. And what's wild is that next greatest version is already inside of us. It's just dormant. And so when we look at the pain or the stress as a problem, then you are given a couple options. You can either fix it, you can either fight it, or you can judge yourself as a failure because of it. If you can fix it, then fix it. If you can actually do something about it, that's something to do. I really encourage you to do it, right? Judging yourself as a failure or fighting will do nothing but paradoxically make it stronger. Yet when we look at it as something that's happening, here's cliche, something happening for us rather than to us, when we're able to really look at it in that vein, then there's particular steps that enable us to create a bridge. A bridge is what? A structure that allows two sides that would otherwise not meet. We create a bridge in the lifeline to the subconscious. And so the subconscious is invisible. So we create a bridge by following certain steps. We get present, we observe, we discern, we intend, we imagine. We've got muscle reflex testing that allows us to be very clean and clear as far as when we're really working on a subconscious level.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of that, in processing those memories, for example, the 9-year young part of me that was like really a rascal, as a result of processing that, I'm no longer reacting as a 9-year-old. Like, what does that even mean? That means, because when the 9-year-old gets triggered, my immune system functions as if I'm still 9. My digestion functions as if I'm still 9. My thought patterns are 9. I'm in my primitive brain. I'm not in my neocortex. I in my prefrontal cortex. I am in my survival brain. And when we're in our survival brain, we are unable to process emotions. Mm-hmm. And not only unable to process emotions, but our body does not heal effectively. We maladapt because I'm adapting as if I'm 9. This one concept is the essence of Lifeline. Because once that 9-year young part is given a target, it will go there. It's magnetic. It will, once you give it the heart's resonating vibrational frequency, which is what we do in Lifeline, it's really simple and fun, then the subconscious mind will follow the heart. It's like a dog. If you train a dog, you got a good dog. You don't train a dog, you got a bad dog. You train a mind, you've got a great mind. You don't train a mind, you got a mind that is going to poop in your house and eat your furniture, right? It's like, it's the same kind of thing. And then it shows up as skin conversation. It shows up as addiction. It shows up as I'm not enough. And the consequences of that in our relationships, in our business, and our health, and our wealth, and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I froze.
I love that.
And that's the subconscious mind. I had a thought and then it just went away. A really profound thought.
Let's sit with it.
Let's see what it is.
I mean, we were really ultimately talking about the problem in the portal, and I'm good with problems. I mean, I like figuring out like things. Like I like fishing, so I like. All right, I want to figure out like where I'm going to be casting and what kind of lures, and there's I like the logic and the creativity of life and doing things and getting organized and all that stuff. I think that's really cool because there's an order to things.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's always something driving us that's below the surface. The subconscious mind is at the core of life. It's at the core of life. So when we can align the subconscious mind with our highest self within our heart, the essence of going back to that other question, manifesting health, wealth, relationship, and beyond, we start to align with that. It's the challenge on it is we oftentimes like, oh, I get somewhere, I get to live happily ever after, and then we stop using our tools, and then the reality is life changes because the essence of life is change. And the reality of life is that every day is a practice, not a perfect.
Mhm.
Every day I wake up and I do a lifeline session. Every single day I do a lifeline session. Every single day I do. Does it mean I don't get triggered? No, of course I do. It's just part of life. Yet I have a different kind of refractory because I'm in the practice, and because I'm always focusing and I'm doing my best to always focus on where I'm going versus what I want to make go away,
Mhm.
while living in the present moment. And that's this lifeline lingo, and that's a way that anyone can learn. Anyone can learn to be present in life and live their highest self, their best self in this problem-based world.
So to summarize everything, being present is the practice,
That's
is the
it.
solution, is the
You want
core.
and you want to know the quick answer, like the ultimate, like here's the answer to life. So the answer to life from this point forward, you want to live the most incredible life for the rest of your life. This is the only thing you need to do. You need to accept everything you experience immediately. No matter what it is, from life to death, from disease to health, from everything, from heartbreak to to wealth beyond imagination. You need to accept everything as quickly as possible. And as soon as you accept it, you have to let go of it as quickly as possible.
And that's
That
enlightenment.
that's enlightenment.
That's
With that, then you're present.
yeah,
Accept as quickly as you can, let go just as quick.
yeah,
That's again, it's easier said than done. That's
absolutely.
easier said than done.
Absolutely.
We've got family and we got friends and we've got, different things that really mean a lot to us, and different causes. And so it's a real powerful and humbling journey to be present.
Let me be honest with you for a moment. There's so many of us learning and learning and learning, yet our lives have not changed. A lot of us go into sound healing, retreats, workshops, and we know so much but integrate so little. Sometimes we can even have a high, a dopamine high of learning new insights, new methods, new practices, and sometimes we can feel that inner peace within us as if we have already come home to ourselves. And then something happens. A cognitive dissonance is what I call it, where we feel so good on the inside, but our relationships, our business, our money is still as bad. And I know this because I have lived it. I have gone through 100 plus healing modalities over 15 years through 5 continents, and yet I wasn't able to heal, and I was stuck in knowing too much, but so frustrated because I could not transform my lives. This is why I have a 6 weeks transformational program that is designed to bridge the inner peace that you feel from within with all the inner work that you do to outer abundance, so that it shows up in your relationship, in your business, in your career, and in your money. And most importantly, in your health. This is for you if you are like me, that you're done with just learning empty things and unable to apply it into your own life. This is for you if you're looking for a container that goes beyond learning, but focuses on applying, taking action, implementing into our lives, where your inner peace finally is represented in your outer reflection, in your business, relationship, money, and health. This is for you if you're looking to create true freedom finally, and you're ready to take action, implement, and integrate those things that you have learned into the rest of your lives. I'll walk you through my signature framework of taking those 5 steps that is going to create the true freedom that you're looking to manifest. This program is not for the faint-hearted that just wants to learn and test things out. There's no hype here, just deep, honest work. If you're in the season that you're ready to quantum leap and step into the life of true freedom in just a matter of 6 weeks, this is for you. The link is in the show notes in the description below under 6 weeks transformational program. Now back to the episode.
And I,
Oh,
and I really, I tip my hat. I tip my hat for people that are in the practice of being present.
yeah. I would love for our audience to tap into the possibility of moving through the portal and learning the tools to be present and to be able to accept and let go and rise to their level of human potential. Can you share some stories, some examples of like when we are able to do that at that moment? You've seen thousands of people over the many years of your practice. What are some like the most amazing miracles you've seen?
I know so many, really,
Yeah.
so many, and I think they're important to talk about. They really are. They're very important to talk about. And at the same time, everyone has their own unique journey.
Hmm.
And yet it's important when we can talk about it to realize if one person can, then why can't another person? So I've had multiple people with stage 4 cancer come in and work with me. Prostate cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, different things like that. Now, this is an important thing because that is like blasphemy. It's like I don't heal anybody. It is not about healing people, and it's not doesn't mean that they're not working with their medical team or other things as well. Remember, I always tell people to get their dream team together. So, um, you want to hear a neat story?
Oh, love it.
Yeah, this is a neat one. This just popped in. I trained this incredible woman who lived in Perth, Australia, and Genevieve was at her house in Perth, and her and her husband were eating, and they heard someone pounding on their front door, bashing it in, like someone's attempting to break in while they're in. And so they freak out, and the husband goes to the side of the door and is holding it. She doesn't know what to do. She goes to the kitchen, she grabs a knife. And she's so scared. She's not that kind of person. She does not want to do that. She just got back from like 10 days of working with me. And so she is very aware of infinite love and gratitude and lifeline and focusing on where you're going versus what you want to avoid. And meanwhile, somebody's coming in and she thinks they're going to, this, whoever this is, whoever these people are, she's thinking they're going to kill her and her husband. She gets next to her husband, who's holding the door, and the bolts are like coming off of the wall. And she starts screaming, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude. No joke, no joke. And the pounding starts to slow down, starts to soften, and it stops. Meanwhile, she had called the police. They were waiting for the police. They didn't think the police would come in time. The pounding stops. The police come. They go outside. There's a man curled up in a fetal position on the front lawn with a big knife next to him, and he's whimpering and he's saying, "I'm not a bad man. I'm not a bad man. I'm not a bad man." She like literally did a lifeline session with him
Oh,
through it.
wow.
Like it activated his inner child, and he freaking woke up. That was an outrageous. That was a very unique, outrageous experience.
Wow, it's really amazing.
Yeah,
That's the first one I've heard out of the many
yeah,
stories you have told. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot as far as people with phobias. I had a gentleman, a woman actually, who was phobic of escalators. And she couldn't go on them. And she came in. This is when I was working with people in person. She came on and she goes, "Dr. Darren, you would not believe." She goes, "I was running late for a dentist appointment, and I didn't even think." And we had already done the lifeline for the phobia. And she's like, I went into the appointment. I came out, and she goes, and she realized, oh my God, I went up the escalator and I didn't even think about it. So she was totally present. As much as she was running late, she didn't even think about it. And then she just went down the escalator, and she's like, and it was no longer there. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Amazing.
And here's another one. There's two more. There's a little girl who had anaphylactic allergies to peanuts. And the mom, Bonnie, brought her daughter in who was like between 2 and 3 years of age. And so we're working together, and I'm harmonizing and doing Lifeline. And I'm like, I think we got it. I'm like, but what I'd like you to do is like, I'd like you to come in another time. But what I'd like you to do is let's do two more sessions, and then at the end of this month, I'm gonna have you go to your pediatrician and um, make sure you're tested. If it doesn't show up that you're on the test, then do the provocation test of the peanut in front of the doctor. And so we did 2 more sessions. Then went to the pediatrician, did the allergy test. Peanut allergy did not show up. They did the peanut allergy stress test. She did not react to it. And then, so that was a child. So then you think about there's no placebo with children or animals, right? So the beauty is vibrations, energy. It just is what it is. That was a really cool experience. Then another one was another little girl, and she was like 4 years of age, and she started having all these like PTSD behaviors of just being in panic. And it started with her favorite uncle grew a goatee, and she was triggered by it. And then she was triggered by every man that had facial
Goatee.
hair.
Okay.
And so the thought is like, oh, there's some kind of sexual abuse going on there. And the parents had brought the child to psychologists, to the medical doctor, even used medications, all different kinds of things. Nothing was working. My banker at the time knew these people and referred them. Like, if you're open, go see Dr. Darren. And so they were, and they came in, and I'm not even thinking about it. I'm muscle testing. I'm using their muscle to work on them. I didn't even know how to self muscle test at that point. And it shows up that it's a past life sexual personal invasion.
Oh, crazy.
It
Whoa.
was crazy, and so there's something happened to this soul in another body in another life where there's a sexual personal invasion. I'm just talking out loud because I've done so many sessions I don't even think about it. And meanwhile, I'm thinking after they leave, and I'm like, they must think I'm really weird. I don't hear from them for about a year. And a woman calls me up and she goes, you know what? You worked with my sister-in-law's daughter who had all these panic attacks, and you did one session and she no longer had those panic attacks. Can you help me with irritable bowel syndrome and all this stuff? And I'm like, for sure. But I just thought they thought I was crazy. I didn't hear from them. But no, we did one session and it was a past life, which is a really interesting because memory is memory, whether it be memory on a soul level, memory on a cell level, memory on a generational level. It influences our body and our behavior.
Yeah, I had one experience like that with you. I don't know if you remember it, but because I had a past life memory where I was burned to death.
I do. I do. Do you want to share it? You want to share it?
Yeah, I was sharing. Yeah, I was having a past life memory where I was burned to death, and I was just going through a huge, strong inflammation in my body. And then the next day, I just remember the next day after the session, I remember I was just so dead tired. I was just hydrating and sleeping. And just for context, when we have serious flare up in the body, it's so itchy you can't sleep at night. And I began to sleep so well that night and then sleep, for 12 hours straight. And after that day, after the session, 70% of the heat from my body just left me. So that was insane. And I was like, I was like, whoa, what just happened?
I do remember. I do
Yeah,
remember that. That was
that was
profound.
so
Yeah.
profound. Yeah,
And once again, take no credit, take no blame. It's not about
absolutely.
making these memories go away. That's not true. It's about setting intention and creating a consciousness. And this is what happens. When we create a consciousness, a high vibrational consciousness, what doesn't match that consciousness lets go. The lifeline just targets what that is so that we can harmonize it from
Yeah.
a higher self perspective.
Yeah, we don't let go of things. Things just let go of us as a
Yeah,
result of raising
cor-
consciousness, right? Yeah.
say that again because that is really maybe one of the biggest statements ever.
Yeah.
We don't let go of things. What we want to let go of, it's literally it will
Letting go
let
of
go of
itself.
us.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
like I gotta let go of this addiction. No, it will let go of us. We got to shift our consciousness. Change. I love how Wayne Dyer said this. Change the way you view things. The things that you view change. When I'm viewing through a past life, when I'm viewing through a 9-year-old, when I'm viewing through an environment where mom and dad are going through a divorce or someone's an addict in my house, when I'm viewing through that lens, that is going to create biological behavioral patterns. And
Powerful.
so when we follow the process of getting present and observing and discerning and intending and imagining, following these unique steps, um, it allows that which has been holding on to naturally let go. It just does.
Mm.
I like Buckminster Fuller's quote of like, "Don't fix the problem, create a solution that causes the problem to become obsolete."
Yeah.
So we create a consciousness that causes these reactive looping emotions to become obsolete. And then they're exhaled and they're sweated out. We have spiritual bowel movements. It just naturally starts to move.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Amen to that. Hey, Dr. D, is there something that you're looking forward to in the next couple of years in your life, in the world? What are your hopes for the world?
Well, my hopes for the world are one person at a time, awaken to living in present time consciousness. I am focused on living my best life and living a balanced life and enjoying my children, enjoying my family, and choosing to be an authentic, kind, loving person. I'm grateful to have my calling to teach the Lifeline technique for people to get certified in the Lifeline so that they can use this for themselves and for people like you who love it and can hold space to help other people do the same. I I really feel grateful to be in the stride that I'm in, and I am going to continue to lean in and be present in this way and continue to share. But I'm loving the balance of my life and my time with myself and my kids and my dog and travel and friends and colleagues like you and all the beautiful stuff. And I definitely see the world evolving. I definitely see the world changing in a positive way. I definitely see people waking up, and people are really curious about this. The Lifeline technique is an advanced technology. There's nothing in the world, there's no one doing what I'm teaching. There's no one doing this. There's people that are doing really cool stuff. And I'm not saying that in an egotistical way whatsoever. It just, this is a very unique process and it's a very unique consciousness to it. We don't heal people, the body heals itself. We don't fix people, there's no one broken. There's intelligence in the pain, fear, and stress of life. I see people really waking up to the portal. And as a result, I see world peace through inner peace. I really do. I hold that. Yet I'm not attached to the world changing. I'm committed to myself continuing to be present so that I can move through the changes as they happen.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
In the Lighthouse Initiative podcast, we have a closing tradition. All right. And the lighthouse exists to point the light in the moments of darkness that there's land nearby, right? It's to give people some form of direction. For someone going through a moment of a dark time, perhaps a dark night of your soul, what is one light you would like to share with them?
One light.
One light.
This means I love you. And the words infinite love and gratitude are a universal healing frequency. It's the secret sauce in the Lifeline technique. If you're going through a dark night of your soul and you need a lighthouse, you'll find that inside of you. And you'll find it in your heart. You'll find it deeper than the depression. You'll find it deeper than the anxiety. You'll find it deeper than the low self esteem. So if you take your hand with love and you bring it over the center of your chest and give yourself permission to take 3 to 5 breaths. Just let's do it all right now. Let's just take a deep breath in and out your nose. And in and out your nose. One last one. In through your nose and out. And as your eyes are closed, as you're connecting to your heart, I just invite you to say this to yourself. You can do it quietly or you can say it out loud. Infinite love and gratitude.
Infinite love and gratitude.
Infinite love and gratitude.
Infinite love and gratitude.
And just feel this energy. Notice what happens to the angst or the stress as you just simply go, infinite love and gratitude.
Infinite love and gratitude.
I would really love to hear from those of you that are doing this right now. I'd really love to hear from you as far as how that one lighthouse exercise impacts you. Yeah, if you would reach out, I would love to hear gratitude at thelifelineCenter.com. Gratitude at thelifelineCenter.com. Put in the topic of your email, the Lighthouse Podcast, and please send an email of how just this one exercise impacts you because I tell you, it's so powerful, it's so simple, and at the same time, it's just the beginning.
Dr. Darren Weissman, thank you for you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your time. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you for starting this podcast with me. Gonna be
Well,
an amazing ride.
in love and gratitude. It's
In
such my
love and
pleasure. I love
gratitude.
you so much, brother. You're such a lighthouse for so many, including me. I'm so grateful to know you and that the universe brought us together and we get to share this journey. It really is such a privilege. So thanks so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Amazing.